Syrian leaders say American strikes in their country will be considered an act of aggression. On Wednesday, Barack Obama announced a broad US air assault on Islamic State jihadists inside both Syria and Iraq. And Russia is also warning that Washington's intervention in Syria will amount to aggression and a gross legal violation. RT's Anastasia Churkina has more.
Abiding by international law in principle is a very clear concept, but in reality it's apparently fine to interpret liberally every once in a while. The US did get asked for help by Iraq to fight against ISIS, also known as Islamic State.
The government of Iraq has invited the United States of America and asked for help. It has asked for help from the United States. It has asked for help from its neighbors, from other countries in the region. And under international law, when a country is invaded and a country invites somebody to come in and help them, we have every right in the world to respond to that request.
But no such request or approval of airstrikes ever came from Syria, whose territory the U.S. will now bomb, because there are Islamic State members there too.
Unfortunately, the president it continues to talk about opposing President Assad, and frankly, Assad can be a big help, and I think along with Iran.
Another approval for airstrikes that was not requested was that of the U.S. Congress representing the American people. And while some Americans are accepting of this,
we need to eradicate terrorists wherever the terrorists are.
Others are not, having seen enough U.S. military action throughout recent years.
No.
Why?
No. I don't think you should be bombing, dropping bombs on another sovereign country, period, unless they agree to it or ask you to.
In fact, the Syrian government has actually said any airstrikes would be considered an act of aggression.
The opinion of the international community, such as the UN Security Council, has also been nonchalantly brushed aside by Washington, while even America's key Western ally, Great Britain, has yet to announce what, if any, line of action it will be taking when it comes to the airstrikes over Syria.
Just because we see something that's horrific doesn't necessarily mean that our elected leaders or our government knows best how to deal with it. So sometimes it's better to take a step back.
But taking a step back when it comes to military escapades in the Middle East is a position the U.S. has proven not to be a fan of, with yet another military action plan raising more concerns than potentially being a solution. From the legitimacy of striking over Syria without the approval of Damascus, the U.S. Congress, or any international body, to the scope, timeline, and consequences of the newly announced operations to come in the Middle East, Washington shows yet again that it will act how it wants when it wants to, not necessarily applying to itself the standards it so often preaches to others. Anastasia Churkina, RT, New York.